a fire?
What?
You know she has it. Jasmine, did you take that bag?
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed it. Jasmine has in her kit Firestarter. If you get stranded and you need to light a fire, lighters are okay, but not necessarily your best thing. This will work no matter what. Wet, cold, damp, you will always start a fire with this, okay? This is a striker. Now this one is brand new. You can see that it hasn't actually been struck. This one little section here that's been struck, she has to actually take it and get all of the paint off before it will work. Like if I try it here, it's not going to work. It's get all that paint off before it will work. This is one type of striker, okay? You're going to strike it against kindling. That's what she's doing. She's making some kindling. We're going to show you how to build a fire without leaving a trace. My favorite trick, which I actually learned from Scouter Eleanor, is dryer lint. It's packed small, it's very light, does not add a lot of weight to your pack, and starts a fire like that. If you're in the woods and everything is wet and you can't find dry wood or dry kindling or dry leaves, this will start your fire. It catches very quickly. Okay?
That's just the simple lint out of your dryer. You know, you have to empty it all the time.
One thing to add to that, gentlemen.
I carry, this is mine, it goes on my belt pack when I'm hiking. I left it in the case so that you could see. You can get these at Scout House. I carry something a little bit more complicated than Jasmine's. It's called a Magic Striker Kit. I have my dryer lint, but I also have something called Fatwood. This is not real wood. It's fat-treated wood, so a few little curls of my knife off of this will light the fire very quickly. Okay? My striker kit looks a little bit different than Jasmine. It is a manganese stick with a striker. So this will work even when it's wet. Yeah.
Even if I don't go camping,
Okay, can I have
the other essential thing that you need to take with you when you're hiking is a knife. I like a pocket knife like this. She has a pocket knife. Make sure it has a locking blade. It should not be one that closes by itself. There must be some kind of a release mechanism to lock it. And of course you have your tools to strike it with. Always have a flashlight. With your flashlight, batteries are good. Okay, extra batteries in your pack. Some people prefer to carry a tool like this. Personally, for camping, I think it does a lot of things that you don't need it to do. You've got pliers, it's a multi-tool, so you've got everything in here, scissors, screwdrivers. For some people it's great. I know Scouter Craig likes to have these because if there's anything that goes wrong with the camping stove, he can replace it. They add a lot more weight. The weight differential between this one and a regular pocket knife,
السلام عليكم. تنزل أحلى.
The difference in weight is tremendous. Eyes on your knife, please.
I'd like to introduce you to Scouter Halla, who is a cub leader, and her son Kara, who is a cub, and her daughter Jude, who is a scout. And this is with one of our North Shore groups. I was hoping Halla would come today because I know she's going. Sorry, carry on.
So, prepared. We talked about leave no trace camping. We talked about packing out your garbage. We talked about, if you're a smoker, you're not going to put it in the fire. We talked, the last part of survival is actually lighting the fire. Oh yes, and rope, which Scouter Craig will be needing. If you're going to light a fire in the woods, if you don't have a fire circle already, there are some have a designated fire area, and you're going to build a fire, you have to protect the earth. Okay? You don't want to leave a trace. If you have a piece of metal, a garbage can lid, a cookie sheet, maybe one that you're using for making your, making your grilled cheese sandwiches or whatever, you can use that. Not metal straight on the ground. You find a few rocks and you balance the wood on your rocks. Okay? Failing that, if you build your fire on a piece of bark, obviously not this big, you want something bigger, bark off a larger tree. If you build your fire on a piece of bark, that will also protect the earth. The inside of the bark will hold your fire, the outside will protect the earth, and it will not burn the ground below. Burning the ground below damages trees, plants, animals you can't see. Okay? Before you light a fire, what do you need to have?
Water.
Something to put it out with. Don't light the fire unless you know you can put it out.
Some people step on it too.
That's what
yeah.
Only if
That
it's
could be.
cold.
That's exactly
That's
what it
enough.
Excuse me, you have a knife permit.
She does.
How can use a knife by right way?
How can
Can you explain how can you use the knife?
you want to tell?
Yeah,
You want her to tell you?
Yeah, what the wrong things she
I mean, are there a specific way to use the knife?
There is. Yep, there is. And Eleanor,
Give me
can
how
do
does
we
she
have time
shred
for
it?
that now?
Take
Yeah, how does she shred it? Like, how does
You take the knife and you hold it like this. Don't make sure it's not like this, because I used to have a habit with my mom's old knife to have it like this, and like once in a while I'd like have to scooch it back because sometimes I might try and
Your back fingers away from the blade.
so this helps me go like this. So you hold it at the right position, and you just like kind of stroke your knife. Mine is pretty sharp, but you'll know. Like say mine is struggling, you'll know. That's how you know if yours it's too dull.
And how often
It
do
is
you
more
sharpen your
dangerous
knife?
to use a dull knife than it is to use a sharp knife.
Surprising.
You are much safer to use a sharp knife.
It's going to depend on how much you use your knife, so how often you need to sharpen it. And what you use it on.
And what I use exactly.
There is one tip that I want to give you that is rather important, and it's about wood. If you take this piece of wood, smell that. This is willow. Give me the piece of cedar, please. Okay. Smell that. This is cedar. This is a natural product to a rainforest that you live in now, in BC. What you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of cedar, and every camp you go on, you're going to take a small piece with you. So when you go to start a fire, you cut your shavings from the cedar. It'll start faster, quicker.
This is the cedar, right?
No.
This is willow.
This is willow,
This is
that's
willow,
cedar.
okay.
That's why I had you smell it.
Okay.
Cedar has a very distinct smell and odor. Hala, could you, everybody
It'll
explain?
start faster
Everybody
and
understand?
quicker. The kindling
شجر
one?
السيدر حتى عندهم هون بسموا الأولاد سيدر. يعني you can find children they have.
They named them
They
cedar.
named after this very nice smell. وبعدين بولع بسرعة وخفيف. وهذه أحسن حصة كانوا يحبوها أولادي اللي هي الهاي. إحنا بنطلع كام من كرم وكان عمره 7 سنين 8. وأول درس very interesting كان كيف يمسك السكينة ودائما لازم adult يكون beside him يعني مش لحاله يمسكها. وكان هذا favorite because it's not allowed at home to play with that knife.
Exactly.
We're not going to actually light a fire, so I'm just going to show you what you would do in the real world. Obviously, your little piece of bark like this is not big enough. You're going to build on a bigger base like this. So imagine
This is the earth.
that
Imagine
this
is the earth.
yeah, imagine that this is magnified, okay? This is the size of your fire. This piece of bark is actually this big, okay? This is not enough lint. We're just pretending that this is bigger. But you need to have a base to protect the ground underneath. You're going to put a little bit of dryer lint.
You got this from your laundry?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of the dryer.
Yeah.
You know what? When we go outside, we can light this little fire. Eleanor, with permission, we can light this little fire, and you can see how quickly it's going to burn. We're not going to make a big fire because we don't want to have to put it out. Okay? And I think that there's actually a law against lighting fires. So you would put your kindling on top. That's enough. Dryer lint, kindling. And then you're going to take your pieces, smallest pieces first, going up to bigger pieces. And you are going to build, you can either build like a raft, stacking them up, like this, or you can build a teepee style fire, like this. The most important thing is that you have air circulating underneath. Once this is going, there are smaller, lighter pieces on top that can catch, and then you increase the size of your pieces until you have the big logs. Okay? If this is not dry and does not catch, the rest of your fire isn't going to happen. Build a small fire and make it big by adding pieces to it. It's easier than starting to build a big fire.
But the main point here, we have to leave, a space for the circulation, for the air circulation.
Yeah.
In addition to, obviously, to keep it dry.
Yeah.
That's all.
You went to Camp Bing last summer, I believe. Some of you did.
Yep.
Did you make a fire?
Yep. No.
No.
Didn't make.
At Camp Bing, they have wheel
fire
rims from cars, and so they put a rim on some rocks, and that's what you build the fire in. It's to get it up off the ground. If we were taking this garbage can lid to camp with us, we would get some rocks to put under it to get it up off the ground, and then build the fire on the actual garbage can lid, on that actual lid. It's just to keep it off the ground, because if your fire goes down into the ground, you don't know where it's going to go. There could be roots that would then catch fire, it would smolder, and sooner or later that tree over there and that tree over there could catch fire. So you want to avoid your fire going down, you have to have something under it in the outdoors.
Are we going to move out to stoves?
Yep, we are.
We're going to take this out. We'll light that little fire so that when you move on to stoves, I can take care of putting it out. Does anybody have any questions about...
Yeah, I have about the hand warmer.
Uh-huh.
How we can use it? I mean, from outside or how?
The beauty about any type of survival gear is that there's always instructions. Okay, all of them. Oops. Dr. Christ can explain it to you while I...
The tent and stay there without woman.
A minimum of
Just, yeah, minimum.
minimum.
To
And you guys have all done this?
maybe their family, the father.
Without those like particular skills. You know what? We just go out and take the risk.
From the woman.
They usually take gas and lighters to.
What is this?
If you got lost
No,
or
I-
stranded,
This is
takes a
the most
while.
important thing.
It takes a bit, it'll get warmer as it goes on. It's air
4 or
activated.
5 days.
Okay.
Keep moving it around.
Hunting, eating out.
They don't have this one.
اللي عجبتني
come on out.
See the fire?
In the cold and fall and winter, you want to have it.
Pull your hand away and strike it a couple times so that you get comfortable with striking it. Yep. Small pieces of wood that are going to catch first. See how quickly the garland went up? We're trying to light a fire and it's raining and it's cold and all your wood is wet. That is going to give you a chance to start it.
Need more coffee.
So what is
Yeah,
what
let's
is
take it.
what is the first thing that can ignite roots that are 2 and 3 feet below the surface. That's why we want to protect the earth. We want to contain the fire.
Have you experienced any such a thing?
Thankfully, no, but I have seen it. I have heard of it, and I have talked to people who have been involved in that. Okay.
And now it's not allowed even to make fire in the forest.
بس
So by law.
بس أنا معليش بس أنا ما مستوعب
You know what, Hala, if you're standing up a mountain,
ماني مستوعب.
أنا بقول لك كل الشجرة بيعملوا الفير
we're
جنب.
going to put it out now.
بتلاقي قطعة صغيرة
Can you carry it over to the table so we can look at
بتطلع بجنب.
find a way to
انت بتروح
Is that fire out? Is that, hang on.
لما بتيجي